This is the Schwinn Axum. It's got a full aluminum frame, 29-inch wheels, internal routing for a dropper, and a 1x drivetrain with disc brakes. At first glance, you might think it's just another high-end hardtail, but you'd be wrong, because this bike is sold at Walmart for $398. And I already know what you're thinking, and let me assure you, this is not going to be another sensationalized Walmart bike video, but rather we're going to attempt to answer the question, have Walmart bikes actually evolved enough to be considered a viable entry-level bike?
Yeah, this is a whole other ball game. Whoa. Teeth are rattling, and I swear I think I can feel the chain hitting my ankles. Probably have too much air in the tires, but you know, so far it's doing all right. Oh, my hands are tired from braking already. Sketchy part, I'm gonna go really slow here. Woo! Getting bucked around.
So let's start with the positives, and for the price, the bike actually looks really good. The welds on the aluminum frame appear to be of good quality, and the 1x8 drivetrain shifts surprisingly well. And at first glance, this looks like something you'd get at your local bike shop. But look closer and you'll notice that the rear derailleur doesn't have a clutch, and while I never managed to drop a chain, it was pretty noisy on the downhills. Regardless, I found the bike really fun to ride on flatter, smoother trails, where I appreciated the stiffness of the frame and wheels along with those high-volume 29.26 tires. But when it comes to more serious trail riding, there's a few things that are holding this bike back.
Having to use 2 fingers on this brake and having to squeeze pretty hard is really hard on the hands. But then also this suspension, it feels like there's only 2 positions here. There's topped out and bottomed out, not much else in between.
Then there's the gearing, which by normal standards isn't too bad, but in my opinion, a beginner mountain biker is going to need a little bit more of an easier gear if they're going to pedal this thing up an extended climb. I strongly believe there's no such thing as bad bikes, only inappropriate use cases. So who's this bike for? This was a difficult one for me to figure out, and it wasn't until a few rides later that it actually struck me. The Schwinn Axum is one of the best Walmart bikes you can buy that can actually be ridden on light trails. So take a moment and think about the significance of that. For a lot of people in this country, Walmart is their closest local bike shop. And if they have access to something they can take to the trail, as long as they have a good experience, this can get them hooked into the sport. In other words, this is a legitimate gateway into mountain biking for a lot of people. But for riders like you and me, can a bike like this fit into our lives? Well, this isn't going to be your go-to bike for your weekend rides, but if you're looking for an extra casual bike, say for a significant other or for visiting guests out of town, or maybe you're going camping and want to pull a stroller and not have to worry about bringing your expensive bike, I can possibly see them spending $400 for something like this. And to put it in perspective, this entire bike costs the same amount of money as this alloy wheel. Alright you guys, hope you enjoyed this review, and remember, those trails don't get easier, you get better. We'll see you on the next one.
I'm not messing around here. I've got my pads on. I've got my full face until I can trust this thing. Let's see how she does.